When you're here, I can't feel no doubts, 'cause you keep me where the stars are bright. It doesn't really matter.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for you to be here. We are doing a deep talks video. We're going to be talking about how to create a stronger bond with your family members. I cannot explain to you how many questions I get, emails, DMs on this subject alone. It's pretty cool actually, thank you. And yeah, so it hasn't always been easy. Obviously, no family is perfect. There is, excuse my language, very fucked up things that even family members go through. I understand and I am aware that your family does not have to be blood related. You can find family in coworkers, and friends, and strangers, in pets. This video is for those of you who really strive to have that family, to have that relationship, that bond that is unbreakable, and hopefully my advice helps you, because there's nothing I want more than people to grow up in healthy homes. I want you to be able to go home and feel like you are home. I hope that you take it. This is all personal. It's worked for me, so I'm praying that it works for you too. I wanted to give you guys a quote, but I'm just gonna give you guys this quote that I heard when I was very, very young, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can feel me on this. It's by Lilo Stitch.
Dad said Ohana means family.
Huh?
I remember hearing that, and it's always stuck in my brain, like it's been there.
Ohana means family. Family means
Nobody gets left behind
or
forgotten. I know.
Family ties can be tricky to fix. Why is that? Because it's our closest bond from birth. The generic theme would be the parents versus the kids, right? Every household is different. There's different personalities that you're working with. The parents are usually supposed to be the ones caring for the children, but sometimes it can be quite the opposite. The child will have to take care of the parent. Ultimately, you're putting your life into someone else's hands, or someone else is putting their life into your hands. They are now your responsibility. Once you leave your mother's womb, it's not a safe place anymore. You have to find an attachment that will teach you the things that you need to know and will give you the affection that you need to feel in order to grow up healthy and survive, that our environment shapes us in some way or form. It's up to us whether we want to be a part of that or not. You do not need to keep anyone in your life that you don't feel safe around, that you don't feel benefits your life. Sometimes it can be so emotionally sabotaging and unfixable no matter what we do, that the best thing that we can do is to leave it alone. Depending on where you live in the world, your connections and the strength of your family bond will vary. For example, Asian cultures will keep their family ties very, very close. Families will hold on to their children for life. And yes, this can create severe attachment issues, which can become unhealthy. But also, if you think about it, in the Western world, once you are 18, you're out into the world and you have to figure out everything by yourself. You need to have your own bank account, you need to have your own car, you need to have your own job, you need to have your own home. Anything that can prove that you are an adult and you can take care of yourself. Yes, there is trauma within families. Surprise, surprise. You are around them so much that now your words and even your actions start to become even more comfortable. You are more relaxed. Anything can slip out. And that is the ultimate test. I think family ties test a person's true character. So some things that might push you away in your family would be belittlement, judgment, abuse, both mental and physical, narcissism, isolation, and so much more. So if any of these things are happening to you, I would go to a psychologist, a therapist, a counselor. I've spoken to so many different types of people from various backgrounds, races, cultures. They tell me their experiences. You can imagine that all I can do is sympathize. I speak of all this because I've been through it. I've seen my family members as strangers at one point in my life. Because I grew up in a traditional household, I was expected to clean the house, do the dishes, make food, you know, the typical female does everything mentality. So I was that person that would put my friends before my family. In my case, I felt like the males in my family didn't understand my position as a female, and that really hurt me. I would envy my friendships more than anything. I took my friendships to heart. If people hurt me, it was a huge deal. I had a lot of drama surrounding my friendships when I was younger, and that was because I was so afraid of having a broken home and also a broken friendship. I'm actually going to tell you guys one story that changed my entire perspective on the subject of family. So I was in middle school, and so was my brother. I think I was in 6th grade and he was an 8th grader, and we were on the bus. So my brother's sitting on the bus, and my friend at the time had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She was very comfortable making fun of my brother. I overheard her and a couple of other people laughing at my brother, really putting him down, and I remember just watching all of this happen. It feels like I was in a movie. Out of nowhere, my friend, who is no longer my friend, when my brother turned away to look out the window to ignore them, smeared the peanut butter sandwich all over his head. I laughed with them. You know, it's just like one of those moments in your life where like, why the fuck did I not do anything? So we got off the bus, and my brother wouldn't even look me in the face. He wouldn't talk to me. And I knew, even though I was laughing with them, that it was messed up. The situation wasn't cool at all. And as his sister, I played along with it. I will never forget that. Ever. Ever. And he forgave me. The next day, he completely forgot about it. Maybe he might watch this video and he might remember. I'm sorry I'm crying, but it may not seem like it's a big deal, but it's a huge deal. I didn't stand up for him when I was supposed to stand up for him. And he didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be treated that way. But because of that experience, I decided to change my ways. And I'm so glad that I did. The first rule is to get to know yourself. You have to know who you are, because when someone who knows you very well, who lives with you, anything they say can get you off balance. So you have to know exactly who you are, what you like, what you dislike. That also includes things that make you angry, what makes you tick. Once you are aware of your own character, it will be easier to address it to your family members, because nothing they say to you will affect you once you know who you are. The second rule is it is good to see your family members as strangers. Hold up. Go into a room or the kitchen or the living room, and I'm pretty sure you will see a family member there. Go crazy in this thought. Imagine if you were someone else, or if you lived with another family. Do you think you would still be the same person? Do you think that you would evolve in the same way that you are evolving now, whether that's good or bad? In your mind, picture what it would be like if they weren't in your life. So you did all this, right? And now you're saying, okay, but why am I doing this? You're doing this to test yourself. You want to test yourself because you want to see if you really do care about this individual or individuals. Do they really make you angry? Do they really make you happy? It allows you to see them in a different light. You're not seeing them as a person who sees them every day. You're starting to see them as someone you don't even know. You're just creating a picture for yourself. Now, the third tip that I have is to share silence with one another. With family, it's never easy because it's so easy for us to bicker. Or worst case scenario, it becomes a place where you can't even speak your truth. Everything that you're suppressing pops up, and it expands and it turns into a fight. All that pent-up energy that you have from the outside world is now transferring into your home. But because you're only sharing silence, stress levels in your brain when there is no noise, start to decrease. It doesn't mean that you have nothing to talk about. The energy when you are being silent will speak for itself, and it will say, hey, you're my family member. I don't have to be someone I'm not. It's simply saying, let's just sit with one another and see where this goes. Let's see who opens up first. You need to be persistent. You might get rejected from your family member. If you are consistent with the advice that I'm giving you, it will keep you going. You want to check up on them in their room, at work. The most important thing with checking up on one another is group chats. Don't be afraid to text or call your family member. Nowadays, we use technology like it's nothing. These group chats will help you know where everyone is going, what they're up to. You can share memes and jokes and anything that you're going through throughout the day with one another. Make sure that no one in the family is left out when you do these group chats. Also, don't take it too personal. You also live with them. So if they're not in the group chat, because you know that this will be the obstacle, you can still pass through it. Try and convince them to be back in the group chat and say, like, we missed you, like, we want you in the chat. If anything, you can joke about it at dinner. You want to be light on your feet when you are confronting your family member. Keep in mind that it will be you trying to make the connection. The fifth tip is where I add astrology. I'm pretty sure that everyone loves to celebrate their birthday, right? Obviously, you do not want to forget your family member's birthday. That's why I love astrology and zodiac signs, because you can never forget someone's birthday. Of course, some people will get shy or they might have, a bad experience with their birthday, but you can't say no to a cupcake. Everyone loves a cupcake. The outside world only gets a glimpse of who they are. You know their true self. There is no mask. You know the person they are behind the mask. You see them every single day. Astrology will only help you. So if you have a fire sign in your home, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you might want to get active with them. If you have a water sign in your home, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, you want to try to understand their emotions. They may be feeling more than you expect them to be. An air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, share what you have learned throughout the day. And an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, bond. Have chill days. You don't have to go to extravagant lengths. From my experience, once I started to use astrology on my family members, it became much more easier for me to tolerate their personalities, and it also helped to understand where they're coming from. The sixth tip is you really want to stop comparing and contrasting your family members to yourself. Try and celebrate one another's achievements. Their graduation day should feel like your wedding day, and your wedding day to them should feel like they had just hit a winning lottery because they feel rejected or like they're not mentally in a good place. Ultimately, they don't like to explain themselves because the more that they do, they could get embarrassed of their own lives, and that's why they will start to compare their life to their family members. The last thing you need in your life is your family judging you. The seventh tip is you want to go on family dates. This is the perfect time for you all to roast one another. Why do I say that? You can't get embarrassed because you're used to it. One family member is late, one family member is struggling to get up, one member doesn't have money. You also know how to tame one another. You know exactly what to say to push one another's buttons, but you also know where the off switch is. Now with these family dates, you might have difficulty coming up with a clear decision on where you want to go, what time, how many people, all that. So one family member will choose where to go for that week, and then the following week, someone else is next, and that cycle will continue. Now the key portion about this family date tip is if one family member opts out for whatever reason, no one goes. And that's why I said the quote from the beginning with Lilo, no family member gets left behind. If you really want this family thing to work, you can't be putting yourself first because it's a unit thing. It's not a one-person thing. The eighth tip is make sure that you see one another cry. There's actually a scientific study that proves crying can help interpersonal relationships thrive. It makes them stronger. And crying is actually evolved behavior. We usually in our households are in our own rooms, in our own darkness. But if we see our family member crying or venting and opening up, it eventually will lead to talking, and it will also lead to support. But what if you're thinking, I have cried to my family members and they don't care or they don't take me seriously? You are the winner. You are opening up yourself so much that you are allowing yourself to cry in front of another individual, whether that is family or not. And it doesn't mean that at every second of the day that you have to cry to them or vent to them for them to see your submission. The trust is forming slowly but surely, and now we're on to tip number 9. We're going to offer to help. This is the hardest step to get past because not a lot of people can trust anyone into their space. What you could do is help clean their car, their room, their office. What this does for you is it opens up a portal into their own world. People create their own worlds. Of course, you want to trust the people around you before you let them into your world. Invasion of privacy is a huge, huge deal. And once your family member lets you into their abode, you must follow these rules carefully. You don't want to tattletale. You don't want to make a fuss. And most importantly, you don't want to judge them. That is why it is not your world, because it's so different from what you think you know. But in this case, you are now working together and you are able to focus on a purpose. While you're cleaning, you're able to see things that might open your eyes into who they are. You are helping them get their life together. This is the 10th tip: money. In today's world, money is blood, sweat, and tears. Believe it or not, it can create a lot of power struggles between family members. You must keep in mind that your family members come before a piece of paper. You must respect hard work. If it's given to you, know how to give it back. If you can't give it back with money, you can give it back with your energy, with your efforts. If you know that it will create a problem within the family, don't take the money. This, of course, depends on the person. You might not want the money. You might just want your family members' attention, their loyalty, their care, and just their presence. There are people who work 24/7. They don't have time to see their family members. It doesn't mean that they don't care for their family. But if money can talk, so can you, and that's where communication makes its way. And I think that is it, guys. I would love to hear your stories. I really do hope that this video motivates you to try and connect with your family members. It will be a lot of work on your end, but I promise it's definitely worth it, because even if it doesn't work, you know that you tried. So many of us think that if we give 100% that we are losing, but we're really not. You are thought about and people admire you for what you do, and some people even wish they could do what you do. They want your strength. But I hope that you guys have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world. This alien is out, and I will see you guys later.